In general, if we're just talking about California, and we're talking about all of the benefits that California has to offer, we can talk about like nurse to patient ratios, for example. I want Monica to read this study that goes over the benefits of having proper nurse to patient ratios.
The study was done in 2021. So the results were patient to nurse staffing ratios on medical surgical units ranged from 4.2 to 7.6. And after adjusting for hospital and patient characteristics, the odds of 30-day mortality for each patient increased by 16% for each additional patient in the average nurse's workload.
In California, if you're a med-surg nurse, you have 5 patients, which means that for each additional patient that you receive, the patient's mortality will increase by 16%. So if you were to have 6 patients, the mortality rate of your patients would increase by 16%. But if you have 7 patients, that's 32% increase in patient mortality. If you have 3 more patients, which is 8 patients, that's a mortality rate of 48%. Your patient will have a 50% chance of an increased mortality rate if you have 8 patients. And 2 years ago, I think it was, COVID was beginning to normalize a little bit more in the hospital setting. I met with my coworker and I asked her if the working conditions were still as bad as they were when we first lived there. And she told me she was taking care of 20 patients. Then her coworker went on a lunch break and she had to take care of another 20 patients that belonged to her coworker. She had 40 patients. Now just imagine the increased mortality rate that exists when you're taking care of 40 patients.
Make it make sense, I'm telling you. This is the reason why when I used to work in med-surg in Sinai, we didn't have break nurses. I would never go on break not because I didn't want to, and it was because I didn't trust leaving my 6 patients with another nurse who had another 6 patients. And the acuity of our floor was so high. I had a vented patient, I had 2 fresh post-ops, and these were like liver transplant patients. So my anxiety was like through the roof. I could not go on break thinking like my patients were not gonna die on. So yeah.
No, for sure.
And then I come here in California. I've been working at Kaiser for 7 years now, and not a single time have I ever missed a break. 7 years, never missed a break.